I was in a service when the pandemic hit. I was in a service where people came to receive the Holy Ghost. 22 people received the Holy Ghost, but before the 22nd man received the Holy Ghost, he was a Jewish Orthodox scholar from Jerusalem. He stood at the altar and wouldn't pray. We went and talked to him. He said, I will not pray to Jesus. He said, I believe in one God, but Jesus is not that God. He made a big mistake when he said, I would only believe that Jesus is God if God spoke to me personally in Hebrew. When he said that, a girl who was a first-time visitor was receiving the Holy Ghost, speaking in tongues. This Jewish man looked at us and said, she's speaking Hebrew. We said, wait. We said, what is she saying? We said, what is she saying? He said, she is saying the same phrase over and over. I am God, and my name is Jesus. That Jewish man received the Holy Ghost and was baptized in the only saving name.
That's an amazing testimony, and it reminds me of Acts chapter 9, when Paul is on the road to Damascus and he gets hit with a blinding light and he falls to the ground and then he speaks to God. But when it's retold in Acts chapter 26, something is added. Look what it says. Acts chapter 26, verse 14. And when we all had fallen to the ground, I heard a voice speaking to me and saying in the Hebrew language, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? It is hard for you to kick against the goads. Now Saul responds and says, so I said, who are you, Lord? And he said, the voice responds and says, I am Jesus. Paul was persecuting Christians. So why did Jesus say you're persecuting me? Because the third member of the Trinity, the Holy Ghost, now lives in every born-again believer who has repented of their sins, put their faith in Jesus, who is the fullness of the Godhead bodily, Colossians chapter 2, verse 9, the Trinity. This is the remnant, not a church denomination. Oh, and something else. Look here, when Paul says, who are you, Lord? He's obviously not talking about Jesus. He doesn't believe that Jesus is Lord. He doesn't believe that Jesus is the Messiah. So when Paul says, who are you, Lord? He's talking to Yahweh. And when he cries out to Yahweh and says, Lord, who are you? When he responds, he says, I am Jesus. The Trinity is always talking. Are you always listening?